Future Sound Priject podcast.
Okay, hello and welcome to the first ever Future Sound Priject podcast. So I'm here with myself and my brother Jay. Say hi, Jay.
Hello.
And we're going to be discussing a different theme about music each week. So today we're going to be discussing all about songwriting, and we've got some absolutely gorgeous guests with us today. So I'm going to start with who we've got first, and we've got a man from the Claws, Mr. Liam Deakin. Hello, Liam.
Hello, how are you doing? Are you right?
Not too bad. It's the first time I've seen you not in a suit for a while, so I don't know whether you're just not dressing to impress us or what.
It's the first time I've been dressed in a while, man.
Okay, and we've also got Mr. Alex Ohm.
How are you doing, chaps? You alright?
Yes, not too bad at all.
Big cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers to you. What have you brought to drink, Al?
I've got a nice ruby hobgoblin.
Oh, see, I love that. I've gone continental with San Miguel.
Okay, I'll probably be asleep in about 10 minutes after.
Yeah, that's more to do with me than the beer. And then we've got Mr. Ryan Pinson of RML Studios. Hello, Ryan.
How you doing? You alright?
Not too bad at all. So I think what we'll do to begin with is we'll just have a little chat about what we've been up to at the minute, because obviously with COVID-19, things have put the brakes on what we do every sort of day. But it's been interesting how creative people have been getting. So Al, I've been noticing that you've been doing like an online social media tour. Tell us more about that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd like play to strengths and stuff and use the name as a bit of a catapult. You know,
yeah, do you want to tell people what it was called?
Oh, well, I called it the Home Alone Tour.
Oh, I love that. Home Alone, yeah. Absolute genius.
And I edited the artwork to the film a little bit. So, and I used that. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's a bit mad, really, because we had a few gigs booked in to play up and down the country, and it's actually, I think, been more successful doing it from my bedroom, like so.
Yeah, played in front of more people.
Yeah, so all gigs are off now. All gigs
you just
online.
Just know where you are. I did tune in. I tuned into the YouTube one. I dropped you a little comment as you were playing. I think sure. it was one of the old ones. I think, mate. It was one of the line specials.
The classics.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Domino Effect. It's good to hear it, mate. It's been a long time.
Well, it's hard to remember it, to be fair. But,
and then
I brought that on vinyl the other day.
Yeah,
did
that
you
one.
Really?
Yeah, it was honestly, that, and it was like £3.
You've been robbed, mate. You've been robbed.
Purchase of the lockdown, that one.
Yeah, I'll put the hobgoblin with that.
I know. I found the hobgoblin as well. It's all in the attic. It's about 2 years out of date, to be fair, but it'll do.
Like your man blew the dust off it. There it was.
Like playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Dust off the guitar and stuff as well.
That's it. Liam, what's been going on with the Claws then, mate? So I imagine you had lots of things booked up for the summer.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not a lot is going on, man, unfortunately. Yeah, we got a good decent little tour ready in March and April and stuff, and we were buzzing. We never had a big tour really, so we were buzzing to get on that, and then obviously that's gone downhill. And then festival season, some of it's been pushed back, but whether it happens still, I don't know. And then all the tours now are all happening in October at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on tour for 28 days in October or something like that.
October's going to be amazing though, to be fair, but it's just one of them.
Touring in the cold though, man.
That's true. That is true. It will feel like the summer, I'm sure, though, mate.
Yeah, I'm still wearing the Sunny
turtleneck on.
man.
That's it, yeah. Turtleneck will come in better use there.
Yeah, I know. I might be able to get a haircut by then and all, man.
Yeah, I did see the recent Insta poll. It was I voted no, Liam. I have to say, Liam asked everyone whether he should shave his head or not.
I look like Bono, man.
What now? Bloody hell, things have been depressing.
Yeah, that's what lockdown does to you, man.
Yeah. And Jay, what have you been doing, mate?
Me?
You're not getting away with it.
No, not really, mate. In fairness, trying to dodge your text messages about doing some work for this. Looking after the 1-year-old, and well, although my wife would say I haven't been doing a lot of that either. Yeah, just trying to, like, I'm just trying to eat and drink as much as I can. So,
but it's happy days.
Being successful was in fairness, but
and
not a lot really, mate. Just getting used to new life, I suppose.
It's very strange. Ryan, what about you, mate? Are you able to get on with some mixing, producing while you're here, or not really, or what?
A few little bits to do. Did a charity single, which is doing pretty well. Voices for New Cross.
Who's on that, Ryan?
It's a combination of people, really. Kelly Ward was the brains behind it, and then a few people got involved, and it was all done on like this karaoke app.
Okay.
So I had to remove the backing track from each vocal take.
Wow.
Piece it together, so it was a bit of a mission trying to piece it all together. But I think we're on something like 13 grand now, so it's raised quite a bit of money.
Mate, well done.
Yeah, that's a brilliant effort to be there. And Al and Liam, did you not get the call for the charity? I didn't.
I'm still waiting, man.
Yeah, you don't feel bad. They never want me to do like a Justin Hawking guitar solo. No. Still no call, you know.
You were never capable of doing that, mate.
I definitely wasn't, but Ryan was capable of editing it, so I was. So that's the best part about Ryan. Kind of just brings us round full circle to what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about songwriting. It's really cool because we've obviously, Jay and I were in a band for years, and we started the promotion thing during the band and just continued that. So we've got our experiences of being in a band, and then we put playlists together for bands, and so we hear so many songs coming out now anyway, so we've got that perspective. We've got Liam, who's currently in a band, recently signed to Universal Records, may we just say, so well done Liam on that. And then we've got absolutely class. Then we've got Mr. Ohm. So Al's gone solo now, so was in a band, now he's solo, but he's still working with musicians, and it'll be interesting to see how much they put into the songwriting, or is it just down to Al? And then we've got Ryan that can tell us about when it gets to the recording stage and the influence he has. And we've recorded, me and Jay recorded with Ryan. I know Al has as well. I'm not sure about Liam. We'll get to that in a bit, but we know that he did so much writing on those songs without probably even realising. So there's lots of good things to talk about here. So I suppose the way we want it to run is that we'll just have a chat. We've all got a beer or a tea, as Ryan has got, and so we can just chat it through as we're at the pub. I've got some questions that have been sent in from Instagram, which I'd like to put to you as well. But I think first of all, if you could tell us how you currently write songs, that would be a good point. A good point. So, Liam, I'll start with you. How do the Claws currently write songs?
What, like during lockdown?
Well, not necessarily. Just always, yeah.
I don't know, man. It changes every time. Like every single one of the tunes we put out has come about in a different way. The most recent one, we had a riff, like that riff is like 3 years old. We had it back in the when we used to do the Rainbow and shit.
The In My Element riff, or
but we never did anything with it, man. We thought it was shit. And then Piers put some lyrics over it, and then it kind of come from not thinking too much into it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. It changes every time, man. We're quite a close-knit band, and if we always have an idea, we always put it on each other and work with it, and then get it down, and then we don't rush it. We come back to things in the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Sometimes I don't know if you've got that riff and you keep playing it at practice or at the start of practice before you start practicing your set. Sometimes that evolves a song because the drummer's normally ready, waiting, and he'll start playing along with you as well, and then all of a sudden, that can just happen, can't it? Quite naturally, that you just take on.
Yeah, man. I think sometimes you need to have different influences. So, you need to find later on putting the music quick to turn out the way it does as well. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. We just don't rush anything, man. It's nice and chilled, man. It's quite a welcoming place, sending in ideas and stuff.
So Liam, is there times when certain members of the band potentially got the whole song completely good to go? So they might turn up on like a guitar and they play, this is the song that I want us to work on. Or is it that you do it more as like a group?
We do it as a group.
Yeah.
It's just like you come in and go like, so, one of us will go, oh, I've got this, and you'll either go, oh, that's class, or get out.
Get out.
Get out. Yeah. Can't believe you've even walked in here with that. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's all right, man. It's just like we have ideas and stuff, and then it's pretty much ripping off other people as well, man. You know what I mean? That's all you got to do. It's just how clever you can be with it. You know what I mean?
It's been happening for a very long time, and I think Jay, did we get about 7 years of trying to get away with that?
That's why we got Al on, because
we haven't been caught yet, man. So we're all right.
We used to rip most of his stuff off.
Yeah, we owe.
Our producer said to us the other day, he was like, oh, all you're doing is doing ABBA over 12-bar blues. Penny just dropped my, I was like, oh, what a shout that is. Exactly what it is.
That's class. Lads, just going off the record quickly, if I can hear people on the thing, so I don't know if we need to mute just in between, I'll edit that out anyway, but okay, right. Al, how's things going with you then? Because obviously, tell us maybe how you used to write songs when you were in a band, and then when you went alone. But then also now you've got band members as well playing. What's the relationship there?
Yeah, it's a bit of I don't know, like a strange sort of progress, really. Strange, but in some ways like the same. Like, because I've always sort of like at home done like rough demos of like tracks. I think it's that thing when you've got an idea in your head, you want it to sort of turn out like that. But like fast forwarding to now, what's been quite nice is sort of having an idea in your head and then taking it to other musicians and even write and then actually letting it go a bit and sort of seeing how it progresses from there. I always, a bit like what Liam was saying, really. I try not to force something now because back in the day, it used to be like, right, we've got to get this song done, we've got to get it ready. And now it's like, well, right, okay, I've got some chords, I've got a few lyrics. I can't think of anything else at the moment, but I'm going to come back to it. I start off with like voice memos and stuff like that. And now, because I'm that good, I've started using GarageBand. Yeah. Watch out, Ryan, I'm coming.
About time.
I do want to sort of progress it onto something a bit more advanced, but at the moment in lockdown, GarageBand's doing it's good, man. You get to put some some more detailed ideas down and stuff like that. But also, like, I think when you do that as well, because what I found is like I used to write like quite a lot of stuff on acoustic, and the problem with a lot of acoustic is like a lot of times it tends to slow a track down, or I don't know, you get into sort of a bit of a chilled vibe, and sometimes you want like a bit of an upbeat song. So what I do then sometimes is I have a look at sort of like drum loops or beats are sort of similar to what I've got in my mind to play a track to, and then it just opens up a different sort of creativity, really.
I like that idea. I think that's I suppose though is the more you develop as a musician, the more free and confident you can be about that, isn't it? Really, because I've never even thought of that as a way of doing it. Put a drum beat to it. I would always have waited until I took it to practice to get a drummer involved. That's quite a cool, clever way of doing it.
It just it's a sort of inspiration, really, because I think sometimes, like, if you've got something on acoustic, you'll play it, and I still do it now. Like, I'll play it, and then I'll listen to recordings on voice like memos, and I'll notice that it'll probably like chill out as the song sort of develops, which I don't necessarily want to happen all the time. Sometimes I want it to sort of have the energy and keep it up.
Yeah.
So it's good just to get and you find that you sort of play it differently, maybe a bit like sort of more rigid to sort of match the beat, or you know, not as hectic. So yeah, I just find it sort of like just gives you more sort of ideas, really, as to what you can do with a track.
No, that's brilliant. Jay, how did we used to do it? Because you were really the main guy that used to write the structure mainly, didn't you? Really, you would write the structure, I suppose.
But I think so. So we kind of developed over like a period of time, and kind of originally our lead singer would send me like pages and pages and pages of lyrics. Most of them god awful.
He's probably listening to this, so great.
Oh, well, he got better, and he got a lot better. But in fairness, and I think one of our biggest problems was the fact that I would write the I'd turn it off to practice with the song practically done, and you were probably asked to write a guitar riff, and Greg was asked to put some drums to it, and we were picking bits of lyrics from different kind of poetry that he'd kind of written, whereas then kind of as the band got progressed more, that I don't think we ever wrote a song in that way, probably in the last 2 years. In general, we kind of wrote all together, and the very last thing that would go on the song would be the words. And I think that Ryan will probably remember, if he's got a memory that long ago, that we used to turn up, and most of the time we hadn't wrote the chorus, we hadn't wrote any of the words. Dan was still scribbling stuff down about what he wanted to do, and then we were trying to fit a melody into what we'd already written and all these different types of things.
You're not the only ones.
Yeah, and I think that, so when me and Tom were talking about this, one of the questions I kind of had was that what ended up happening a lot was that bits and pieces of our song were about different things, so we never really had songs that were kind of stories. They were kind of like, part of it was a story about this, and then the other bit was a chorus that was a story about something else. So if someone said, well, what's the song about? It was like different bits that we've stolen and put into different areas, but I didn't know if anyone actually really sits down there and writes like an actual story or in that kind of way, or whether it's just basically just the music's the more important part.
I think what you were saying there, I think it just differs for everybody. I think sometimes you can sit down and write a song, and you'll just be in that mood, it'll flow, and everything will match. But like, you know, I have exactly the same thing. Some days I go away, I write a great first verse, and then I write a chorus, then I'm like, oh man, I'm stuck there. But then like you come back, and then sometimes they do match. I don't know if it needs to match all the time, but yeah, I think there's a lot of other people in the same boat, really.
Liam, what about you? In my element, like, is that because that's been going for, you know, we had you play for us 2015, 16, and that's been there for such a long time. Is that telling the story? Because in the song it seems to tell the story, or is it just the lyrics were written recently, but the music has actually been going for a while?
Yeah, the music was going for like a very long time, but like I was saying, we had all the music for it for ages, and the lyrics. I'm not actually. I didn't really do too much with the lyrics for that one, but you know, I don't think we were trying to say too much. I think we were just saying like what we saw out and about in, you know, where we're from.
Yeah,
is, you know, the kids off their tits, man. 99% of the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's like, it was just saying what we saw. Do you know what I mean? But I think it kind of, because, you know, we was talking about them, I think it done well because they could kind of relate to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's why. I don't know. Maybe.
And Roy, you're in a unique position of being in a band yourself, coming and being kind of the guru of recording, you know. So what do you see as the the best practice? What do you see as perhaps the most interesting ways that you've seen bands turn up recording, or what do you like working with? Tell us about that.
Everyone's different, really. I mean, I work with lots of different types of artists who've got different ways of working. So some might have a song idea that's already prepared and written. Yeah. And then others might come in without a song idea, maybe just some lyrics, or, you know, just an idea that they want to make a song and piece it together there and then. Everyone works differently, really. I'm quite happy to work with whatever.
So when that happens, how much influence are you prepared to kind of have on that? Because I'd imagine the part of it is you kind of guiding their creativity as much as without you actually stamping your own creativity on that, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, some people come in who can play all instruments. Some people can play the guitar and sing, and they want me to add my influence on it. It just really depends on the artist.
Sorry, I was just taking a drink there. Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think what the beauty is with what you do, Ryan, is that actually you don't get a sense that Ryan Pinson's taken over and done this because it sounds like a Ryan Pinson recording, if that makes sense. Yeah. You get really good tracks, but I think what I always say to bands when they ask, can you recommend someone to record with, is that actually you have a really nice way of listening to ideas and help bands mould their own ideas, which is great. But, for example, I know when Al, remind me of the song with the strings that you had on, which went on the radio, Ian Wright. What was that?
Oh, No Illusions, that wasn't it?
Yeah, No Illusions. I remember that was like quite bare bones, wasn't it? And then you layered all of these different strings and stuff. What other bands you've had where you've had like loads of just like time, really, I suppose, is the essence, isn't it? You need a lot of time, but then to really, I suppose Al's really good example.
I think that one took about 2 years, didn't it, Al? Was it 2 years into that one? Maybe 3.
Oh man, there's still songs we started in about 2001.
Still working on. Mate.
That is amazing. That is absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to put a question in now. So here's the first question. Thank you for everyone that sent the questions in. I've just picked a few over. So, Kintsugi Tiger and Blick Black and the Chili Holers, which is one of the best names of a band I've ever heard, may I just say. They said, I more than often get a phrase or emotion stuck in my head that springboards the songwriting. So my question is, words or music first? What do we think with that? Do we write... As a frontman, Al, is it different for you to perhaps the rest of us who weren't frontmen in bands, that you might write your lyrics in the notes pad first, or will you always start with the guitar, or will you always start in another way? I don't really know who wants to answer that first.
I think I saw that question the other day actually, and it's like one of them things like why. I always think, why does there have to be a first? I mean, it's like just do it. If you got a lyric, get the lyric down, because and the music, you know, if you got like a voice, well, a lot of us have got like recorders on our phones that we can get ideas down. Just get it down, because there's been so many times when I've had an idea and I think that's great, I like that, and then you think I'll get this down later, and you come to do it later and it's just completely gone, or it's changed slightly so it's not, you know, I don't know, not aesthetic on the ear. But I don't know, just either or, whatever comes first. If you got a bit of music, get that down, and then, you know, you can always, like what you were saying earlier with Dan when he used to bring his lyrics in, then at least you can start piecing lyrics. I mean, I've got like a memo, like full, you know, on my phone, like memos full of like ideas and lyrics.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get to use half of it, but like sometimes I'll sit down and I'll flick through, and then those like notes will just spark a bit of like, oh, okay, that could go.
I'll tell you what, 20 quid, I'll have them all.
Yours, mate. Yours.
I mean, the thing is, though, I was talking when I wrote back to them. Actually, I was thinking, well, sometimes that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know how Morrissey and the Smiths and Johnny Marr, they wouldn't really work together. They would work completely separately. It was when they brought it to practice. The reason why Morrissey's words and lyrics sound quite elongated is because they had to fit it in. They were kind of very stubborn. And this is how the music sounds. No, these are my lyrics. And so he just sang them over the music. So that's just ended up quite flukish, really. I would have thought, to just sound so original and so great. Liam, what about you? Are you mainly a bit of the both, or are you lyrics and song first? Sorry, music first.
I don't know, man. Like sometimes I'll sit with a guitar, not with the intention to ever write a song, and I'll come up with something I quite like, and I go, I'll just put that in the notes. But I think we're quite lucky, like as a generation, where you can take influence from everything. Do you know what I mean? You can go on to turn on the telly and someone will say something that could be a lyric, and lucky that we've literally got a phone where you can write lyrics in and voice note it at the same time.
Yeah,
so I don't think you should be too hard on yourself and go, no, I need to put the lyrics down first, or I need to make this fit. Do you know what I mean? If it fits. But as long as your ideas are always there and you've documented them, then you know what I mean. They're there, and you can come back to them later on. There's no mad rush, man. And if they fit, they fit.
I think that's it. I think when we were first starting out, bands used to have, what were those little, they're like 8 tracks, were they, that they used to take to practice, and you could record your ideas down on that. What's an 8 track?
Yeah.
It was
like
basically that.
Explain what the 8 track was.
Did you have
Is that for me?
Al or Ryan, did you have one of those 8 tracks?
I had a cassette recorder.
Yeah.
It was 4 tracks, actually. It was a Yamaha 4-track. Just like a little cassette. You put it in and you record up to 4 tracks on it. That's all you had, 4 tracks.
Yeah.
And then once you were done with those 4 tracks, you bounce those down onto another cassette, and then you got 8 tracks.
That's it.
And so forth,
That's it. The thing is,
to
it.
So it's quite a good idea in a way, because you had to commit to these ideas. You couldn't really alter them. You could change the volume, but
that's
it's a good way of recording. It's like how they used to do it back in the day.
I think it is such a blessed generation though at the minute. Jay and I were talking the other day. I would have loved our band to have been about now, because we have no memories really recorded, like videos. You know what I mean? Like, how amazing! Like now you've got Liam. You must have pretty much every one of your recent gigs on tour must have been recorded on a phone. You have people sending them through on their stories. You got pictures, even the banter you're having in the Mackies beforehand. You know what I mean? That's all recorded. Whereas we're not. We're talking 2011ish, something like that, and we ain't got any of that. And it's just like, in less than 10 years, there's a massive shift, isn't there, in what you can actually record.
We were saying that, but I think we'd have rather actually have been back then. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone can do it now. Do you know what I mean? Even if you're shit. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean, or you're not asked. You can make it seem like you're really asked.
That's true.
And do you know what I mean? It's weird, man. Because and not only that, you'll see another band and you're like, how the fuck have they pulled so many people to that gig? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? There's a lot.
It starts like a mental war.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I think we'd have actually rather have just cracked on with it, man. Do you know what I mean?
They must have a brilliant promoter, Liam.
Yeah, they must.
I'll get another question in. Let's see what it says. Okay, so we've got next question says this is from hopefully I'm saying her name correctly, so I apologise. Eclair Hewitt, and says she's just starting to write music for the first time during COVID-19. So it's a thing that she's set aside that she's going to do in the time of creativity that we're in. So she said, what is the best and most basic structure layout of a song for beginners to start with? E.g., should you just start with verse, chorus, bridge? Is there a particular order that you can recommend that she could then just get started with? Ryan, I'll go with you first, because you must experience so many different experience of bands. Then I'll go with you.
I think, yeah, that's probably a good place to start. Just maybe figure out a chorus and a verse. I think ultimately, just try and be original, be yourself, do whatever you want. Don't try and fit patterns and structures. Just experiment a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'd say. Anyone else want to comment on that one?
Go on, Lee. Go on.
I reckon, don't limit yourself at all, man. Be as mad as you can. Do you know what I mean? Make your own formulas up, because that's how exciting new music comes about. Do you know what I mean? If you do that, then you end up just writing. I reckon you could fall into a trap of writing just pop. Do you know what I mean? Especially when if that's all you're hearing on the radio, and that's how the way you think a song should be. Do you know what I mean? It's all about being creative, and if you can, not limit yourself at all, then the whole thing's yours to play with. Do you know what I mean?
Pizer, artist, DJ, producer from Birmingham. Question for you, I think probably Ryan, although Al actually with his garage band may be able to answer this one as well. For producing music on a DAW, that's digital audio workstation for anyone that doesn't know, like Logic Pro, is there any plugins that you... What's that, mate?
You look that up.
I'm professional, mate. I'm professional. I'll do my research. Is there any plugins that you'd highly recommend?
The Black Hole's pretty good.
Tell us about the Black Hole.
That is good.
I use the Black Hole all the time. It's just a big room. So if you can't get it to sound good, just put the Black Hole on, and it just makes it sound good.
So Dakota Beats have got black holes all over their tracks. Thanks, Ryan.
I didn't have that one at the time, unfortunately, lads.
She did.
Did I?
She did.
Funny enough, though, Alex Arm's got it all over his track.
What reverb did you say? Sorry.
It's amazing reverb, yeah.
It's a great reverb, yeah. There's so many plugins out there, though, these days.
Ryan actually likes the Alicia Keys piano.
Yeah, I use that quite a lot.
He does like that one.
Brick Jungle's Where Dreams Are Made Of.
It's a beautiful piano.
What's that one? Ryan's got like this one, and it's just got crazy reverbs. You can put like the piano reverbs and stuff like. It's got like a piano like the size of a skyscraper and stuff like that.
Black Hole.
it ain't the Black Hole one. It's got all the string reverbs and stuff. It's crazy. And there's like different halls and things.
Oh, like Altiverb, yeah. Altiverb's great. It's pretty much. It's a package that's got loads of reverb samples that have been sampled from various places, from the boot of a car to like a washing machine to a temple. Yeah, wow. You can pretty much change your sound.
For anyone that doesn't know, Ryan, is there a cost for that? Are they quite costly, these plugins, or are they free? Or?
Obviously, like the professional plugins, you have to pay quite a bit for that. Like Altiverb's the best part, £300-400.
Wow. Okay.
It's something I use every day, and
worth its weight.
It's kind of earned its money back, but
And could Al get it on his garage band?
Unless
or would he need a Pro Tools?
I'll just stick my phone in the washing machine, mate.
Brilliant. Liam, do you use?
But you saying that though, like what I've found is. Basically, what I've been trying to do is trying to recreate some weird sounds and stuff, like sort of being locked in at home.
Yeah.
Like trying to record like in like bathrooms or the kitchen and in the cellar, just trying to like what Bon Iver did with his first album, but he did it like in a cool way, not on GarageBand.
I thought you were going to say, like what he did, but better than that.
No, it's I think in that sort of respect, just trying to use what you've got to the best of its advantage, I think.
Yeah, I think it was what band was it that used the aerosol can?
Joy Division.
Yeah, Joy Division
Yes,
using the aerosol can. It's just like these little things that you don't realise, do you? But actually they're using just these items just around just to get the weirdest sort of sounds, and it becomes like iconic in some ways,
Yeah,
in fact, Ryan, that's another question, isn't it? What's the weirdest thing that you've actually recorded and put into a track?
That's a really good question, mate. That one is.
Alex Ohm.
Is it more like the crockery from Ohm or something?
We did some weird stuff with the first goddamn recordings.
Go on, crazy cats.
Yeah, we did. I think we were sort of banging dustbin lids and.
You know, if I can imagine us doing anything, it is banging dustbin lids. So
yeah, it kind of worked well.
It suits his hair, like, and everything. Like, it looked like what's the guy from the Muppets like? Just like really going for it. Yeah, love that. Right, what else have I got on here? So, next question was, this is brilliant. It says. Joe from Overpass Band, he says, where does Liam get all of his suits from? That was a brilliant question. I don't think it's fits. I think that it's just admiration, mate.
Wow, I don't know, man. They're a bit all over. Do you know what I mean? Some are a Depop job, some of them are a Top Man job. Do you know what I mean? Some are, like, one of them's my old prom suit that I've just managed to DIY a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Amazing. Yeah. Was it your prom suit?
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah, still the same height now as what I was then, man. Believe it or not.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Tell him, drop me a message and that, and I'll link him up to some places, man.
I will do.
Yeah.
Jay, still fitting your prom suit, mate?
Mate, in fairness, I was about twice the size when I was at school, so.
Absolutely brilliant. Alex Hall used to be in the Unreceived. I don't know if you work with them, Ryan, actually. And kind of lads. Said he wants to talk about lyric writing. Any advice on coming up with original themes? I know we touched on that a bit with Liam saying things that you can find on the news or whatever. Any ideas or advice coming up with original themes and rhyme schemes?
I think everyone else's, man.
I'm the wrong person for that.
You're the wrong person.
Yeah.
Liam's is in the teaching world, Liam, because I'm a teacher. I will know this. We call that magpieing, and it's a euphemism of stealing and being a horrible little bugger, isn't it? Really, but magpieing. We once wrote a song. I say we. Dan once wrote a song, and most of the lyrics could be found on what was it? A £10 note, Jay.
Yeah. So we had this song about, which looking back was pretty terrible, but it was about shooting the Queen and stuff like that. But it was like
hang on. Before we get taken off Spotify, before we're even on there, it
wasn't about shooting the Queen.
It was metaphorically.
It was metaphorically about the state of England, basically.
Yeah.
If we were that intelligent, I suppose, to have pulled that off.
Yeah.
But all the chorus lyrics were written on the £10 note.
Yeah. Pay the bearer and all that kind of thing, wasn't it? I think. Al, what's been your where would you find influence or rhyme schemes and patterns like that? You got your old William Blake book out or something?
I think what you said, man. Just like look at like your influences and how they sort of like play with words. Maybe rhyme things, maybe don't rhyme things. Again, it just changes from song to song. Really, I just write stuff down, and if it works, it works. Sometimes I might have like something that I'm quite stuck on, like that I'm happy with, but then out of nowhere, some other words will come, and I'll just be like, yeah, that's better, and I think it has more sort of relevance. Or I think, with sport, we're sort of like, the internet and stuff now, aren't we? You got TV, you've got news, you've got everything that's going on at the moment, but with the internet, you can sort of find so much more information and get so much, many points of view on topics and stuff that you can sort of write about now. So I don't know, you just sport for places to check it, like really, aren't you, for influence topics?
Yeah. Liam, where do you pinch from?
Well, I say things like we don't really, but literally anything that we find, man. Literally anything, we'll scroll through Twitter and stuff from there. But we looked into something recently, which was like a documentary on Oasis. I think it was Noel Gallagher when he was talking about Supersonic, and the lyrics are just like dribble, and he just said he was just writing about the maddest things he could think of, even if it didn't make sense. But it all flows so well. So we kind of took a bit more inspiration from that, really.
Yeah, David Bowie used to randomly select words, didn't he, and form lyrics from that.
Isn't that just what any good writer does anyway, though, who is being creative in all forms of writing, I suppose, isn't it? It's just playing with language, isn't it, essentially? Just, it's just playing around with what you see and things that might be going on at the time or happened in the past, and just playing with how words fit within the sentence, isn't it? I suppose it's just good writing, isn't it?
Bob Dylan was great at doing that as well. There's like there's some footage somewhere of him, and he's like outside this. I don't know, it's like a dog groomers or something, and it's like there's two like sets of like words, like advertisements, and he just keeps switching the words around and stuff, and it's like that's pretty impressive actually. Like but he sort of makes like a song out of this like these adverts by changing the words, and it's that. But that's the fun of it, isn't it? You know, just playing with words and like words having double meanings and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's it. I think Alex Turner does that a lot, doesn't he? He's quite clever at playing with language. Yeah, amazing. Like even like a pick and mix, and he'll constantly talk about things like that, and it's just really clever. We've got another question here from Assiduous Decay. Now they're a metal band from Birmingham, but they asked about progression in songs of all genres, and I think what he was getting at is how much do you play with listening to other genres and fitting it into your own music? So you might drop into sort of a reggae kind of verse, or you might go a bit ska, maybe perhaps in the clause you might fit that in. How much do you play with genres? And then I suppose in terms of yourself, Ryan, how easy is that to manage in the recording process? So I think if Jay, Alan, Liam want to take it first, then we'll go with Ryan after that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think working with Ryan, I think Ryan know like how, like like I've got like lots of different influences, and so I'll start off like with acoustic writing and stuff like that a lot of times, but then I don't know. There's just stuff like hip hop beats and stuff like that, and there's been times when we've even put like the idea of like like the Still Dre keys, like the clinking like keys, and we've tried that in tracks, and I think there's like so many sort of things that you can take from different genres of music and you can put it into your own. Even things like what I do in a lot of my tracks is like the strings, so it's like got that classical element to it. It's got it's got the crescendo like to a lot of the songs, so it'll start off quite sort of soft and then build up to like the big end. I think it's always worth just because you sort of write one style of music, it doesn't mean you can't like hip hop or dance or pop music or whatever. You can there's good bits in every sort of genre really, so you can try and implement it wherever it's possible.
I think that's the thing with the lines. I always found that there was kind of like a strange, it might sound like a dance kind of undertone, or especially in your live stuff. Yeah, you'd feel like a dance kind of gig at times. You'd have these big instrumental pieces, which fit like the big stage really well, didn't it? And you'd have like a kind of, not basement jacks, but that kind of, you know what I mean? It would go off. Yeah. I think
it's like the Rapture and Faithless and stuff like that. Obviously, like again, big into my dance and stuff like that. And I think it was sort of like, how can we sort of like replicate that, but with guitars and stuff like that. So, but, with like dance beats and hip hop beats, they're the sort of beats that people just can't help but like sort of get into, and sort of the atmosphere of the gig then really sort of ramps up. Yeah.
What about you, Liam? What about you? Do you play with any other genres really?
Yeah, you know what I like? As a collective, we're all into loads of different stuff, man. But we make a big thing of like, obviously, when you're in a van and stuff together all the time, you get to share all this like influence. Do you know what I mean? Especially with like Spotify and stuff. You can search your song in a van and you can Bluetooth it and the song will come on. You know what I mean? And when we first started, we were just big into that indie sound, man, which I think you can hear a lot. But as times went on, and Pierce is like a mad techno head, so that's probably where like the dance element comes from. And our bassist is really into like funk, so that's where the groove is. And do you know what I mean? So it's like, I think just don't dismiss any genre of music. Do you know what I mean? Because, and you'll naturally find your own style through it. Do you know what I mean? Because I think your brain naturally picks up the bits that you like the most, and you end up doing it that way as a result of just trying to learn the songs that you like, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Joe, what do you think about us? Because we had a drummer who was definitely into different things, and then when Richie joined the band, he added a different dimension as well.
Yeah, I think we didn't really push, and I think it's probably mine and your fault really. But
But yeah,
Dan wanted to really kind of push us in different directions, and Greg, as you said, was heavily kind of Northern Soul and ska influence. But I think me and you just wanted to stick to being just a regulation indie band, and even when we try to add things like synths and stuff like over the top, I know you, especially, were at the time really dead against that, and I think that was to the detriment of what we could have done, really, looking back now. But I mean, Dan managed to get like a rapper on one of our tunes, and which was a bit weird, I suppose, looking back, and he really would have pushed it as far as he could have pushed it, really. But yeah, I do look back now and wish that we'd have embraced things a little bit more, because we could have done something else weird, really, I think.
Roy, what about you then? So, what's that like in the recording process? Is that make a, I don't know, you take it?
I just think engineers, they need to be quite open-minded, really, and need to be able to work with whatever style. So, yeah, there have been times when I'm working with metal and then the next day it's hip-hop. I think if you want to survive as an engineer, you've got to be open-minded musically. Yeah. I've noticed as well, with the birth of like Spotify, a lot of bands are crossing over tastes. You get a lot of sort of genres bleeding into each other, you know, and there's a bit of a crossover thing happening right now, which I think is great. There's a lot of people taking influence from all over.
I mean, we've got to make your work even more enjoyable, hasn't it, really, I suppose, because you're getting such different flavours, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Which is great. Right, I think then we're coming up to the 45 minutes, and I didn't want Jay to be typing away saying wrap it up. We're aiming for 45. It's been a really good chat. I've really, really enjoyed it. Anyone got any tips or advice, and then last point after that is what are you going to be up to for the rest of this lockdown, however long that may be? How are you going to keep being creative? Liam, if you go for me, any more tips or advice, or how you're going to be creative moving forward?
No, same as what I've pretty much said the whole thing. I reckon just be as open-minded as possible, and, you know, while we've got the time, just listen to as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? I've been listening to a different album that I wouldn't listen to normally from start to finish every day, and just lock my phone away and stuff. And, you know, it's really changed my opinion on a lot of stuff, man, and had me writing in a different way. So I definitely recommend doing that.
Okay, Al?
Yeah, I think just to summarise, I think really what everybody says, just do what you enjoy. Do it, you know, how it comes naturally to you. So, like, if you're sort of like writing things and you think, you know, you need an extra verse or it doesn't need any choruses, let it be that. Like, you know, I think sometimes we can get like, we can sort of put what we do under the microscope a bit too much and over-evaluate it. So just do what makes you happy, really. And I think, like, hinting back on, going back onto what Liam was saying earlier, like, you know, don't focus on what other people are doing. It's easy to look at, like, you know, bands on Facebook or Twitter and whatever and think, you know, these guys are doing, like, Ace, why can't I do that? You know, it's not about that. It's about doing what you want to do. And having fun with it, really, and it should always be about having fun with it. And when it gets past that stage, that's probably the point when not to do it anymore.
Yeah, I think that was the thing for me, wasn't it, Jay? Going back, it became like turning up for a shift at work, and I think the second that it did that, I was actually strangely enjoying the promoting side. And for us, it's about more than that. It's seeing the development of, like, Liam, you know, booking them when they're a young band first coming onto stage and then seeing what they do now. Take as much enjoyment out of that as we used to playing a big show, and I think that's it, really. But Jay, what do you want to say about the playlist? Because we've got the playlist going on where bands can share their songs, haven't they?
Yeah, so obviously whilst we're in this, so we obviously at Future Sound Priject do a monthly playlist, which basically is kind of our kind of favourite tracks that have either come out in that month or come out recently. We've kind of extended that open, and basically anyone who wants to put a track or wants to submit a track to us to or upload, then we'll more than happily the playlist. And essentially, it's a bit of a playlist to try and get bands some exposure when we're all in lockdown, as Liam's just said. if you're someone who's not in a band and you want to listen to some music from artists that are in your local area and doing great things, then that playlist is a great place to start to hear something new.
Roy, what about you, mate? What are you going to be up to for the foreseeable?
My garden's going to come on a treat, I tell you, mate. It's already getting there.
What feature?
Now, one thing I would say is that there's a lot of free plugins out there that you can use, like recording tools. So if anyone's feeling creative, maybe check out, obviously, like your GarageBand or Pro Tools First is another free one that you can download. Reaper as well. I think that's quite cheap. So yeah, check out all this free stuff and just get creative while we can. Fantastic.
Right, okay. So in the meantime, make sure you check out The Claws. Thanks so much, Liam, for coming on. Check out Alex Ohm. Alex Ohm, have you got any more of your Ohm Alone tour, or is that all done now?
I'm going to try and fit a few more live sessions in at some point.
Make sure you do that, and make sure you comment on him. He'll give you a shout out as he's playing in between. He's quite the showman in his room. Jay, thanks for coming, mate.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks for inviting me.
And right, any bands that want some recordings, when you're taking bookings for, just...
Good question. I'd love to know the answer.
Ryan, I'm thinking to be over. Was the kid?
Yeah.
Who you want to end?
Hopefully it ends soon.
If you want a recording, go to Ryan. He's definitely the man for the job. But we'll see you next time. We haven't announced quite what we're going to be talking about next one, but we've bounced some ideas pre this show. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again soon.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
See ya,
man.